task 2 of your coursework is going to be creating the visual identity that you've designed and chosen for the client. And in this video, I'm going to show you how we can make a visual identity that looks very similar to what I've made here, and how we can evidence key tools and very simple techniques that will get you the marks throughout the coursework. When you create your visual identity, you want to make sure that it's a suitable file size so it can be printed and not lose its quality. So when you go to make a new file, you're going to press File and then press New, and then it's going to pop up with this window here. You want to change the width here into pixels, and then you want to kind of change the size to about 1400 pixels by 1400 pixels with a DPI resolution of 300 pixels per inch. And then when you press OK, that will create your window for you to work in. Firstly, I'm going to start by creating a new layer down the bottom right here. I'm going to click Create a New Layer, and you can see it's created me a new layer for me to start working on. I'm going to make a whereabout travel visual identity, which is going to be a circle with a circle around it, and then whereabout in big letters as a title. To do that, I'm going to start by going over to the left hand side and holding down on the rectangle and choosing the ellipse tool. Once I've done that, I'm then going to go down to the left hand side here where this black square is, and I'm going to choose my colour. And in this example, I'm going to be wanting to use a lightish blue background, and I'm just going to draw my circle in like so. To add to this, I'm going to go down to the FX button on the left hand side. On the right hand side, use the stroke button, and I'm going to adjust the size of the stroke. You can slide it, or you can type in the number. And I'm going to go with the number 5, and as you can see, it updates it as you do it. I'm then going to press OK. Just a note, you can change the colour here if you wanted to use a different colour. For example, green, you can change the colour accordingly. But I'm going to keep it black just to make it look a little bit neater. Press OK, press OK. That is my first layer finished. The next thing I'm going to do is I would like to add my text, and I'm going to have a banner with the letters whereabout travelling. And to do that, I'm going to create myself a new layer, change myself to the rounded rectangle tool. It doesn't matter which one you use. And I'm going to draw my banner in like so. Now, as you can see, I've made a mistake. I don't really like that. So I'm going to go to the History tab, and I'm going to go back to where I created my new layer. And I'm going to change the colour this time to a more kind of bright green to kind of represent the landmass. And I'm going to pop that over the front like so. Once I've done that, again, I'm going to go to FX, add a stroke. This time, I want it to be a little bit more narrow, so I might choose the number 2. Press OK, and now pressing the select tool over here, I can now move this around and position it accordingly. And I want it to be a little bit below the center, like that. Once I've done that, I can evidence that I've used the shape tools in my evidence document. So what I'm going to do is take a print screen. You're going to use snipping tool. I'm going to take a print screen of this by selecting print screen. I'm going to copy my print screen and over into the Word document, and I'm going to paste my evidence in here and make it a little bit smaller like so, just so it's a little bit neater. And on the tool name, I'm going to name the ellipse tool, and I'm going to use the rounded rectangle tool. And I'm just going to get a photo, a screenshot to prove that I have done that. Again, going back to Photoshop, I'm going to go to this tool here, take a print screen of this section here, move my Word document, paste it, and that shows the tool, the 2 tools I've used. How was it used? Very quick sentence here. I used the rounded rectangle tool to make a rectangle banner over the top of a blue circle. How is it modified here? I can say I use the FX button to add a stroke to both. This gives an outline around the shapes making them neater, and they now stand out more. So once I've done that, I'm going to go back to my Photoshop document, and now I'm going to think about how I'm going to add some text to it. So adding text, I'm going to go to the where text tool here, click it on the T, and I'm going to click where I want to add some text, and I'm going to type where about. Now my text is way too big, so I'm going to highlight all the text, go to the text size, and kind of move it down a little bit, maybe to 48, and I'm going to place it over the top here, just the perfect size. The color's wrong, so what I'm going to do is go back to the T, click the text, highlight it, and then just change the font color here to black. Press OK, and now you can see my text fits directly into the rounded rectangle, like so. Now what I'm going to do is evidence how I've used the text tool. So I'm going to hide these layers by pressing these two buttons here. Again, I'm going to take a screenshot of this area here. I'm going to copy it back to my document, paste my evidence, say that I've used the text tool. How I've used it, clicked the area I wanted to add text, and resized the text to fit inside the banner. And then again, I'm just going to get a screenshot of the text tool, and I'm going to paste that into here, maybe make it a little bit bigger so it's a little bit more visible, and that is my evidence so far. If I go back to Photoshop and re-add the layers, you can see so far I have developed my logo. So I'm now going to show you how I wanted to add that wraparound that looks like a path or a line going outside of the circle. And this is quite a complicated process, but a lot of key skills can be evidenced here on how you created this this look. So I'm going to create a new layer by clicking the layer button and creating me a new layer 3, which would normally create itself at the top. And I'm going to create a white circle. I'm going to draw roughly the path that my line is going to take. You can see sort of how it's going to look on the line that it's just drawn here. So now I created a white circle. I'm then going to go to the stroke effect again, just add a very basic stroke around the outsides, and I'm going to press, I could press OK, but what I want to do this time is press blending options, default, and change the fill opacity to 0. As you can see, it's made a nice clear circle for me to work on. I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to reposition my circle, going to edit, free transform. I might want to make it a little bit bigger like so, and I'm going to kind of tilt it, give it a little bit more of a tilted effect like so, and I'm going to place it like this, press enter on the keyboard, and you can see I've got my circle going around it. However, you can see this part here, which looks a little bit strange. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the text layer and the box layer. I'm going to show you how I cut out this circle, this black line through the middle of the circle. I'm going to select layer 1, which is my circle, and I'm going to zoom in ever so slightly so I can see the whole of my circle, but I'm a little bit closer just so I can be a little bit more accurate. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this tool here. If you click on it, this is called the lasso tool, and I'm going to draw very close to the circle here and draw all the way around, taking my time around the edges here, all the way around this circle here, and then it should join back at the start here. This is selected only this area of the layer. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it. So I've used Control C, Control V, and it's pasted. And as you can see, it's pasted it to here. So what I'm going to do is put it above layer number 1. And because it's above layer number 1, it's actually overlapping black circle that was inside my normal circle. So when I zoom out, you can see it is now covered. And when I re-add these layers, it still looks a little bit funny because what I've done is I've got my layer order mixed up. So I'm going to move my layers over the top, and that has now created my overall shape. You can see here in these sections here, I've missed a little bit. I can go back and fine tune those in a second, but this is my overall visual identity for the whereabouts travel company. And the last thing I want to evidence, after evidencing all these skills just involved, is by going back to the table and evidencing the layers that I've used. So using the print screen command, using the snipping tool, I'm going to screenshot the layers here, copy them, and then I'm going to go to the Word document, add a new row. Hopefully you'd have evidenced how you made the circle here. And I'm going to evidence the layers. I'm just going to call this layering. And I'm going to talk about why and how I've used layering. So I've used layering to organize and edit my visual identity. And now what you need to have done is, and I haven't done it, is actually on your visual identity Photoshop file is rename the layers a bit more appropriately. So you can right click the layer and you can press layer properties, and then it'll pop up with a window that says the layer name, and you can call this green banner. And I can do that for all of my layers. And what this will do is this will make it more identifiable, so I know exactly what I'm editing. This here could be, if I again layer properties, and I can name this blue circle, and it makes it really clear what this layer contains and how we do it. The last thing you could do is highlight two layers together, right click, convert to a smart object, and that has joined both layers together. So now when I hide it, it hides both the layers, and you cannot see how it has been done. So when you finish your visual identity and you're happy with the result, you need to save it in different file formats so that it can be used in different ways. The first way is to default save it. That will save it as a PSD file, which is a Photoshop file. And then we're going to go to save as, and we're going to keep it as our file name. I'm going to click the format, and we're going to choose JPEG, and then we're going to press OK. Then we're going to press OK again, and then that has now saved it as a JPEG format. I'm then going to go to File. I'm then going to press Save As again. And this time I'm going to save it as a PNG. This supports transparent backgrounds, so if you didn't want to have a white background, this would support that. So you can click on PNG, and then I'm going to press Save again. I'm then going to press OK. And when I go to my files and I look at the results, you will be able to see I have three different versions: the JPEG file, the PNG file, and the Photoshop file, allowing it to be edited.